Well, look, that Chris Paul interview was the perfect segue for what I want to say. Devin Booker on 2 counts. Number one, the world is finally getting to see how great Devin Booker is. Devin Booker has been underrated for the past 5 years. This dude is legit, all right? And now he's showing it. 28 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists on 49% shooting throughout the playoffs. Booker has never been talked about as one of the top 5 players under 25 years old. People wrote off, oh, it's empty calories, 26 points a game. So what? You couldn't reach the playoffs even though it was the West. Now he's showing people how great of a player he is, and props to Chris Paul for giving him love. Second thing it says about Booker, give him credit for embracing Chris Paul and his leadership. You never saw Booker pout when Chris Paul gets all the credit, when Chris Paul's the one in the MVP discussion, when Chris Paul's the one that made the All-Star team first before Booker was an alternate. You never saw him say body language, smirk, nothing. I'm the one averaging 25 points a game. I'm the one doing this, doing that. We got in a role before we got Chris Paul. He has allowed Chris to lead. And as great a leader as Chris is, that is critical. Because when Chris was in L.A. with the Clippers, all I heard once it was over was people were sick of Chris. People were tired of Chris. Blake and Griff weren't even talking at points. Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. When Chris was in Houston, as great a leader as he is, James Harden wouldn't let him lead. James Harden didn't change a thing. James Harden didn't even give Chris the ball. He put Chris off the ball.
That's right.
So Devin Booker's willingness to let Chris lead and say, look, I'm going to learn at your feet. That's why it says the most about Devin Booker.
Chris, that is so big, and people don't understand that, man. That's why when we talk about that chemistry and continuity, it's the most important thing when you talk about the locker room. Bridges talked about it a couple games ago. He said CP3 cursed him out in a Lakers series. He said he was mad, but you got to be able to look at it and say, you know what, this is Chris Paul. In every organization he's been, he's turned the organization upside down. So I love Book. I also love, Joker. As far as, what does this series say a lot about, you got to look at Joker. There's an argument there. You're the MVP. Now, the story all year was about Joker and not the Nuggets, so nobody picked the Nuggets to make it to the finals. But damn, you're the MVP. You can't get one win? There's an argument there. But the answer is CP3 because of what he's done for this organization in such a short period of time. He's come in, he's changed the narrative. He came in this league as the point guard. Then he went to a guy that couldn't win a big one. He went to a guy that always dealt with injuries in the worst times, in the worst games, in the worst moments in playoffs. And now he's a guy that's considered a re-energizer. You got the New York Knicks talking about giving him a 3-year contract, thinking about bringing him in. So that says a lot about CP3 with him hitting these little corner shots and, being the quarterback of the offense. He can play 3, 4, 5 more years, Nick.
To your point, Brandon, the Rockets traded Chris Paul and 4 first-round picks for Russell Westbrook because they thought, the contract's bad contract, worst contract. But America, I didn't watch David Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear on live television. I always wish I had. But I just saw a magic trick similar to it. And let me just applaud. I just really want to give Chris Broussard credit. Because that was the late game. That was the late game last night. So Broussard has only had like 10 hours to figure out, what am I going to do here? The guy that I said was the runaway, no questions about it. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. MVP just got swept and got kicked out of the final game. Meanwhile, the guy that Nick courageously, intelligently, handsomely was articulating was the MVP all year. Not only was he doing the sweeping, can we put up Chris Paul? I want to leave Broussard on the screen, but I got to show you these numbers. Can we put up what Chris Paul did this series? Because it was, perfect basketball. 25, 5, and 10, shooting a nice tidy 63, 75, 100. Chris Paul says, 50, 40, 90. How about 60, 70, 100 with more steals than turnovers? Forget more assists than turnovers, more steals than turnovers. And Chris Broussard said, look over here while I make Chris Paul disappear. Because it's about Devin Booker. Not about the MVP. I want you to respond, my friend. And it's a regular season award. And this is, you know who I want to talk to? You know who I would like to say what this Sun sweep says the most of the Nuggets says the most about? Two people. The two courageous MVP voters who went against the grain and voted Chris Paul first. That's who I say it says the most about. Those two people should get more votes. They should get extra votes next year. Broussard. This went about as bad as it could have gone for the MVP argument. About as bad as it could have gone, my friend.
Nick, didn't we just watch Giannis get swept in 4 games by Kawhi 2 years ago after winning the MVP? Didn't we watch him bow out to the weakest finals team maybe in history in the Miami Heat last year? After winning the MVP, in the one game they won, he only played 11 minutes. Didn't we watch LeBron go out to Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic in 2009 after winning his first MVP and go out against Boston the next year after winning his second MVP? I mean, Nick, this happens. It is a regular season award, and 91% of the most respected basketball media in the world voted for Nikola Jokic, and and Jake from State Paul voted for State Farm voted for Chris Paul. And
Brandon, by the way,
Chris, he was great, but he was not the MVP. He was third, like I said.
The problem with all your great examples of guys getting knocked out of the playoffs after winning MVP is none of them have the following prerequisites. None of those series that you talked about were sweeps. None of them were sweeps at the hand of the team.
Dirks was in the first round. To an 8th seed.
Dirks was in the first round. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Absolutely, it was bad.
That was
worse at least than this. It didn't come at the hands. Yes, but it didn't come at the hands of the person who should have won MVP. It's not like Baron Davis was right there for MVP. Dirk got it, and then, you had him third. So listen, Broussard, it's okay. Hold this real quick. That's an L. It's all right. You got 90 other people to hold it with you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.